What's up guys, EJK here. This video today is going to be between Maru and Blaze, played earlier in Pro League this week. Maru has been setting the standard for TVP with his different array of fast stim style builds. In this particular game though, he is going to go for an aggressive medevac drop on Dusk Towers. This is a decent build to mix into your play style, or your playbook essentially, because on Dusk Towers, if you wall off the main base, your opponent cannot check until a later time if you've taken your natural or not. So if Blaze, neither player has SCV or probe scouted thus far. If Blaze ends up doing something such as a Mothership Core poke, or if his units are out of position, or if he does something that skips detection somehow, this can catch him off guard. So already, even though Maru is going for a fast pressure build, and he's not really trying to hide it too much either, besides placing the factory and the starport outside of range of the wall, so if a probe went up to the wall, it wouldn't be able to see the tech buildings. Maru isn't really hiding his build. He's showing his Hellion immediately, and that will already give away the timing of your starport and your factory. So he'll know that a Hellion's out very fast. He knows that it came out before the command center, and he knows what to expect. This is for scouting purposes. A big thing you have to worry about when doing this build is oracles and Stargate based play. Those kinds of builds tend to do, I would say, in the rock paper scissors world of different build orders, the Stargate opener versus a Widowmine drop opener appears to do best in being able to shut it down, and then you can take a very fast third behind it, and there's not really much Terran can do to punish it. So Maru's scouting that there is a robotics facility means that he doesn't have to worry about Stargate play. He doesn't have to make an engineering bay, extra turrets, or even a cyclone. So he's immediately going for those extra 2 Raxes, and we see the characteristic fast tech lab and fast stim pack started for Maru, because he's going to be gearing up to hit a second timing attack with additional medevacs and bio units later on. So forcing out the photon overcharge, not too bad. Getting 1 probe, wouldn't say that's the best trade ever in the world. However, Maru really isn't trying to do any damage with this push. This style of aggression is more of a harassment-based annoyance kind of style to keep your opponent on their toes, to keep them on their side of the map, to force Blaze essentially to show his hand of what he's doing, because Blaze has to defend with the units he has at hand. He can't just hide them. And so Maru gets a lot of scouting information based on what this drop sees. Now, something very interesting about Blaze's play is I noticed that he stops making probes now. So he's going to be taking his 3rd base soon, but as a Protoss player, there's only one reason why you would purposefully stop making probes right now, and that is to do some sort of an all-in. Currently, Blaze is on 3 gates, and he just made a 3rd Nexus, and he just added 3 more gateways immediately. So what this build appears to be by Blaze is a 6-gate fake 3rd base Blink Stalker all-in with a Warp Prism. Now, keeping that in mind, Maru doesn't really do much to change anything about, like, he doesn't even care that Blaze is doing this in a way because he hasn't even scouted it. He now scouts some stalkers moving across the map, and that's okay because Maru has stim. Blaze is the one who needs to back up and be able to defend this before being able to counterattack Maru. Really, the timing of Blaze's push, he was trying to sell it as a macro build and then do an all-in, but because Maru was playing aggressive with the stim double medevac timing, Maru's timing hits before Blaze's timing, so instead of being aggressive, Blaze is now forced to be defensive with all of his stalkers. Now I just want to point out something really cool here. So this is the first stim back, or let me go back. Let me go back to when he actually blinks, and not stim. I mean it's blink. So this is the first kind of blink. So Blaze does some poking. He blinks back. He kills some units over here. And Blaze is going to keep doing this all the way until Maru gets to his base. So Maru is now slowly pushing across the map, and now Blaze is poking again, and this time it's right here. So now Maru stims from over there, and he's able to take a good engagement like this and force Blaze up to the ramp because a couple of things line up in his favor. One, Blaze's blink was on cooldown. He did not anticipate having to running out of blink, and so his only option was to go up the ramp. So that's why the stalkers are at the ramp, and now Maru has a very strong position. It's going to be very difficult for Blaze to blink into this Bioforce. And two, because Blaze is going for a blink stalker all-in. So normally a Protoss player would have adepts or sentries or a combination of both, and some immortals and observers out on the map. Immortals more so for the defense against this kind of an attack. But Blaze is doing a blink stalker all-in, so the only units that he is making is blink stalkers. Gotta get rid of that. Those were the two blinks, and then the third blink, Blaze, it wasn't off cooldown until he was already up on the ramp. So that's kind of like a bunch of different factors lining up for Maru, and he's able to deal a lot more damage as a result of the position that he's in currently, or the position that happened because of how the builds kind of lined up. So Maru is able to take very good trades here, and by now Maru should have noticed that there's nothing but blink stalkers being morphed in. So he pretty much knows at this point that he's going to be in a very good position, because just blink stalkers, not in an overwhelming number, is not very scary. And we see Blaze at a very, very low probe count. He hasn't lost any probes yet in this attack, but he is doing a 2-base all-in, so he did cut probe production. So losing mining time here essentially means Blaze is on 1 base for the time being, and every probe that he loses hurts him a lot. So Blaze still has a decent sized blink stalker count, but at this point Blaze's attack has essentially failed. He's missed his timing. Maru has a superior army composition. He has a superior economy as well, and there's not really much else Blaze can do besides try to attack and win at this point. We see he isn't even bothering to try to start probe production. He's putting all of his available resources into gateway, or into stalker production. And we see the final attack coming. Maru now has concussive shields finished, and he also has +1 as well, which makes a very big difference in engaging against gateway armies, as we see here. And now he just pulls the SCVs. They're going to be able to tank hits against the blink stalkers and also mess up their AI. And Blaze is patiently trying to chip away as much damage as he can. Decent blink micro, but there's only so much you can do to micro against this entire army of Marus. Oof. The Widowmine shot hits Blaze too. Not a good sign. But yeah, so Blaze's army is cleaned up. He has no economy, and good game is called, and Maru is able to secure a very fast victory. And this really snowballed because of how the builds lined up. Maru's aggressive timing was essentially better than Blaze's fake third timing, and Maru was able to carry out his timing effectively, whereas Blaze was forced on the defensive and his entire attack was messed up, basically. GG.